Are you a motherless daughter? What if we told you we have 20 years worth of truth treasures, pearls of wisdom, and diamonds of hope to help you with your mother loss? We do, and we share all things mother loss on Nurturing Words, Voices of Experience, a podcast by the Motherless Daughters Ministry. Give yourself some self-care and listen as we discuss grief, regret, anger, redemption, closure, and so much more.
Meeting where you want to meet. At Motherless Daughters Ministry, we make it easy to connect with other women who understand your loss experience. Whether you have experienced loss by death or emotional absence, you can hear nurturing words of experience in our podcast. Stay connected and supported with our weekly email and Monday support groups. Looking for individual coaching with a supportive Christian guide? A free 15-minute coaching consultation may be where to start. We help motherless daughters explore how mother loss has shaped their lives. Education equals empowerment. Empowerment contributes to emotional health. Visit our website at motherlessdaughtersministry.com to learn more.
Hello, I'm Gladys Bell, your host for today. In this episode, we are hearing from one of our blog writers with her story of healing. She talks about the pressure to, quote, move on, unquote, and get back to normal. But how in reality, grief is a long and winding road, not something we can just easily heal from. Let's listen to Maya's words as she explains what so many of us motherless daughters already understand. A quote by author Sherilyn Kenyon says, "The worst wounds, the deadliest of them, aren't the ones people see on the outside. They're the ones that make us bleed internally." Is this the response you've heard? Just get over it? Is there a timetable through the loss? What is the end game of walking this journey? I once believed the goal was simply to reach the point where the crying stopped and there was no longer a need for a mom. I was aiming for numbness, indifference, and hitting deeper levels of grief every time. I wanted to go around the loss, not through it. I wanted to hide from the pain, not face what it had been doing to my heart and in my life. The pain was destroying me at every level. Learning to swim. Vicki Harrison is quoted as saying, "Grief is like the ocean. It comes in waves, ebbing and flowing. Sometimes the water is calm, and sometimes it is overwhelming. All we can do is learn to swim." Surrender became the point of accepting deep down that the loss was a loss, a complex grief, because moments would always arise in my future that I wish my mom could be there for. Receiving from God. He wanted to be there for me, walk with me, nurture me, and care. Talking to him about the pain, the loss, and disappointment opened the door to receiving the love he had been trying to pour out on my life the entire time. Sharing an opening of my heart to those God sent along my path, those willing to come alongside and encourage me during the moments of muck and mud. All of these things were key to, quote, learning to swim, unquote, no matter how big the storm felt or big the waves got. Taking the next step. Healing can be messy. That's okay because God isn't afraid of our messes, nor is he overwhelmed by his children bringing everything before him. The mess is worth the beauty that lays ahead. Breakthrough for me didn't come through years of counseling and retreats and inner healing appointments. It came when I stepped into an environment surrounded by other motherless daughters who understood firsthand what I was walking through. For those wondering if the Emotionally Absent Mothers class, Daughters of Narcissistic Mothers, or Mother Loss Support Group is right for you, a good question to ask is, do you feel like you're trying to get through the storm alone? I did, and I didn't know that it didn't have to be that way. For more information about groups and classes offered by the Motherless Daughters Ministry, go to the website www.motherlessdaughtersministry.com. We're going to take a short break to tell you about a resource, and then we'll get right back to the podcast.
Mother loss is a lifelong grief journey. The scars go deep and the pain is relentless. It affects every aspect of a woman's being, regardless of age of loss or how the loss occurred. The hole is deep and filled with many emotions. You are invited to our online support community with the Motherless Daughters Ministry online support groups, focusing on the journey and the difficult obstacles that get in the way of healing. To learn more about our weekly support group offerings, visit us online at motherlessdaughtersministry.com.
How many of us can resonate with the story just shared? There is so much pressure for us to be normal and healed from our grief. Hopefully you haven't had someone actually tell you to get over it, but we can feel the pressure too. Maybe it's not having anyone in our lives who gets how difficult the mother loss journey is. Or it's simply internal pressure we put on ourselves. I remember going to a retreat with a mom's group just a few months after my mom unexpectedly died. It was a nice event, and I was trying so hard to appear normal to everyone else. Few even knew what I was going through, as I was newer to the group and none of them had known my mom. I was a new mom myself and trying so hard to connect with others, while secretly battling some postpartum depression along with my fresh grief of mother loss. I cannot even remember exactly what was said, but there was some innocent discussion at my table where everyone was talking about their moms. It was all too fresh and raw for me, and I ended up leaving the table in tears. I remember talking to one of the speakers who saw me and came to talk to me. I kept saying, I feel like I should be able to handle this better. Looking at it now, 7 years later, it is incredulous to me that I thought I'd be back to normal in just a few months. I think I desperately wanted to feel okay again and convince myself I was still being a good mom to my baby. In reality, I was exhausted, overwhelmed, running on fumes, and desperately shoving my grief down. I don't think I even truly started grieving for her until years after her death. But there I was, thinking I was supposed to have it all figured out so early on. It's easy to shove down feelings, and perhaps for a while we can fool others and maybe even fool ourselves with how far we think we've healed. But true healing comes from sitting in those uncomfortable feelings, surrendering those feelings to God. Not trying to give them to Him to just push them away, but truly allowing Him to help us actually process through the feelings and grow. I've personally done a lot of therapy and inner work, but I think healing and grieving really started for me when I started talking and learning from others who were on this same journey, just like Maya experienced as well. If you are ready to continue with your healing, we would love to come alongside you. One of the things I'm most grateful for with Motherless Daughters Ministry is the support of other women who get it. Whether it's just reading their stories on our blog, connecting through a support group, learning with a course, or listening to our podcast, we want to provide hope and healing for other women navigating this difficult journey. You can always check our website at motherlessdaughtersministry.com or check our show notes for links to some of our offerings. We pray that if you are on this difficult path, you will continue to find healing and peace and comfort.
Thank you for joining us here at Motherless Daughters Ministry. If you need more nurturing words, we encourage you to have a listen to other episodes of this podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe or follow button so you can join us again next time.